The night of April 14th, 1912, began with a haunting, glass-like stillness. The North Atlantic was so calm that the stars mirrored perfectly in the black water, creating an illusion that the RMS Titanic was sailing through the cosmos rather than the ocean. On board, the world was divided. In the first-class dining saloon, the air smelled of expensive cigars and roasted duck. In the lower decks, hundreds of immigrants hummed folk songs, dreaming of New York. They all shared one belief: they were safe. This was the unsinkable ship, a 46,000-ton fortress of steel. The 37-second warning. At 11:40 p.m., the silence was shattered. High in the crow's nest, lookout Frederick Fleet peered into the haze. Without binoculars, which had been locked away by mistake, he saw it, a black mass, darker than the night, growing rapidly. He rang the warning bell 3 times and screamed into the phone, "Iceberg, right ahead." On the bridge, First Officer Murdoch had only 37 seconds to react. He ordered the engines into reverse and turned the wheel hard. The massive ship began to groan and swing. For a heartbeat, it looked like they would clear it. But then came a sound, not a crash, but a faint, grinding shiver that vibrated through the hull. Most passengers didn't even wake up. Some jokingly played soccer with the ice chunks that fell onto the deck. But deep below the waterline, the iceberg had acted like a giant, jagged knife, slicing a 300-foot wound through the first 5 watertight compartments. The math of death. Thomas Andrews, the ship's quiet, brilliant designer, descended into the flooded mailroom with Captain Smith. He looked at the rising water and pulled out his blueprints. His conclusion was cold and mathematical. The ship will sink. It is a mathematical certainty. The Titanic was designed to survive 4 compartments flooding. She had 5. Andrews gave the ship an hour and a half to live. At 12:05 a.m., the order came to uncover the lifeboats. The band began to play upbeat ragtime music on the deck to prevent panic. But as the crew looked at the manifests, a sickening realization set in. There were 2,224 people on board, but only enough lifeboat seats for 1,178. The Great Divide. As the bow tipped forward, the luxury gave way to chaos. Flare after flare hissed into the sky, blind, white screams for help. Nearby, the lights of another ship, the SS Californian, were visible on the horizon, but her radio operator was asleep, and she never came. On the tilting decks, heartbreaking choices were made. Isidore Strauss, the owner of Macy's, refused to get into a boat before younger men. His wife, Ida, stepped out of the boat to stay with him, saying, "Where you go, I go." They were last seen sitting together in deck chairs, holding hands. By 2 a.m., the ocean was lapping at the grand staircase. The unsinkable dream was now a vertical tower of screaming steel. The final plunge. At 2:17 a.m., the lights flickered one last time and went dark. The sound that followed was described by survivors as a roar of 1,000 freight trains. The ship's spine snapped under the pressure. The stern settled back for a moment, then rose straight up into the air like a tombstone. Slowly, almost gracefully, the Titanic slid into the abyss. Then came the worst part, the silence of the ocean, followed by the cries of 1,500 people in the freezing -2 degrees Celsius water. In the lifeboats, people sat in a daze, listening to the sound fade until there was nothing left but the lap of the waves. When the Carpathia arrived at dawn, they found only 710 survivors bobbing in a sea of white ice. The Titanic was gone, resting 12,000 feet below, leaving the world to wake up to a new reality, that no matter how much gold or steel we pile up, nature always has the final word.